Andy McInnes is a resident of Northeast Minneapolis who 3 years ago took an interest in building his own radio station, so he started doing research.
I actually met with one of the founding members of KFAI, and over the course of 3 hours, basically what I got was there's not a chance that I'm going to be able to start a radio station.
So he did other things during the next few years until he was inspired by something in a coffee shop.
And there was a flyer up on the pin board that said how to launch your own low-power FM radio station.
The wheels began turning, and McInnes is now envisioning a station called Radio 13. It would be based in Northeast Minneapolis. He is not alone. In June of last year, the FCC announced it was accepting applications for new low-power FM stations, in what is being called the largest expansion of community radio in history. According to Sanjay Jolly of the Prometheus Radio Project, an organization dedicated to bringing new low-power FM stations on the air, this heightened interest of new voices on the radio had been apparent for a long time coming.
Over the last 20, 30 years is, a real, corporate land grab, so to speak, where, some of the largest corporations in traditional media and in radio and television are in control of huge amounts of public spectrum. And what that does is that shuts out local groups, that shuts out local voices.
Voices like the Frogtown neighborhood of St. Paul, where the community is trying to build a station.
My name is Sam Buffington, and I am the community organizer for the Frogtown Neighborhood Association. Frogtown is a very diverse neighborhood, one of the most diverse neighborhoods in the country. It also is a neighborhood that is very underserved by traditional media. We are one of the only neighborhoods, if not the only neighborhood, in St. Paul that does not have a neighborhood newspaper.
So the Frogtown organizers submitted applications and started to plan. In the process, they have started to envision what this station will be like.
We're hoping for 24/7 programming, that kind of combination of music, of news, but just kind of targeted even more specifically to a neighborhood, and with those DJs and programmers kind of coming out of a specific neighborhood or a specific area. It would cover more than just one neighborhood. I mean, we're looking at the Frogtown neighborhood and the Rondo neighborhood as well.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the river, Andy McInnes has more modest ambitions.
We will be broadcasting Northeast music, culture, news about events, news about things that are happening in our neighborhoods. I do not believe when we start that we're going to be able to do 24 hours a day live. We're working on a very small budget, and even though there can be a lot of volunteers, and primarily it will be a volunteer-run radio station, you do have to have some paid staff, the people that have to show up and make sure the door is open. When there's a problem, they have to have the technical know-how to be able to address that. So right now what we're looking at is 24 hours a day, and we hope to have 12 hours of live on-air coverage.
Andy McInnes, Radio 13. Even as the task of starting a radio station from scratch weighs on the various low-power FM applicants, they must also address the challenges of maintaining momentum as the stations go on air. I asked Sanjay Jolly of the Prometheus Radio Project how his group prepares potential licensees for the day-to-day grind. What if they burn out in 5 years?
Yeah, if they burn out in 5 years, they burn out in 5 years. I mean, the prerogative of groups like the Prometheus Radio Project and other advocates for independent media is to make sure that independent broadcasters, even if they're not experienced broadcasters, have the resources and the know-how, to be a sustainable broadcast entity that serves community needs.
Sanjay Jolly of the Prometheus Radio Project. According to the website Radio Survivor, Since January of this year, there have been over 1,000 construction permits granted by the FCC. According to Sam Buffington, however, all of these stations may be the last wave of new community-centered broadcasters getting authorization.
The reason that there is an opportunity now is technology has gotten better, so now you can have whatever the station is, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and so it's kind of expanded the range. We're starting to reach the capacity of the airwaves, and so this is the last time the FCC is going to release that. I mean, who knows? Maybe in 20 years, technology is completely different, and they have a way to expand that. It seems like this is going to be the last time, at least for a long time.
Sam Buffington of the Frogtown Neighborhood Association. For KFAI, this is Aaron Weston Dorp.